We are live. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do me a favor if you're watching a replay or you're now tuned into the live stream, you have an entrance fee, and that entrance fee is the like button. Please hit the like button. It tells YouTube that this is a video worth sharing, and they'll put it in front of many YouTube watchers on their screens who tend to like this kind of algorithmic stuff about manhood and things like that. And yeah, you'll be doing me a great favor and a service to this channel by doing so, and it's free. It costs you nothing to hit the like button. And if you don't like it after the fact, hit the unlike button. I tend to appreciate any kind of engagement, but if you're going to unlike the video, just share why you unlike the video. So shout out, Chelsea was in the chat before the chat even started. Shout out to Chelsea. What's going on? And we got the sis Bella Rings in the house. What's going on, sis? All right. Hey, what's up, sis? What's going on? I just shouted you out. And I got my decaf coffee here. All right. I got my decaf coffee here with a little bit of a whipped cream. Got a little, coffee thing going. Trying to make it look official. With a little creamer. I like a little coffee with my creamer, as they say. All right, guys. And my brother Brandon's in the building. What's going on, bro? Grand day to you as well. Today we're gonna have a dope discussion, but before I go into the discussion, a couple of things that happened this past week. Yesterday, if you don't know, by day I am a full-time educator. I'm a teacher, and I teach fourth grade students. My students are between the ages of 9 and 10. Yesterday, a school in Nashville, Tennessee, experienced a grave tragedy. A former student who was 28 years old went to the school she once attended and decided to do the unimaginable and taking the lives of 3 students who, from my understanding, were the ages of 9 and 3 adults. So I would like the Harrison extended family, my community here, to keep that school and that city and the families in prayer. They're going to need it. I don't know all of the details, but I'm also a Christian, and it was a Christian school. So the video I saw today of her shooting out the glass window to gain entrance into the building, like, it's scary. No child should ever be in a situation where they feel unsafe at school, whether from outside entities or inside entities. So the police were able to take her down, but please, keep them in prayer. All right. So if you want more information on that, I'll suggest that you guys go to Ruslan's channel. Who's also, from my understanding, is going live right now. He's talking about, check this out. He's talking about how Carl Lentz is now on staff at Michael Todd's church. I would talk about that, but I don't know how it relates to my channel and the content and the theme of my channel. So I'm not going to talk about it. I did talk about Carl Lentz's infidelity, which has to do with manhood, but him finding a place at a different church really has no bother to me. So if you guys want to go after this to Ruslan's channel to watch that live stream, I greatly encourage it. All right. So now to the topic at hand. Y'all know the other day I did a live stream, talked a little bit about just Pearly things and the situation with her and what she said. I also talked a little bit about the manosphere. And I want to start a new movement within this manosphere space. I want to call it the Manosphere 4.0, where we infuse biblical values within the manosphere. I said it. Manosphere 4.0. We are about to take manhood to the next level. Okay? The next level, as my Google Chrome is talking back to me. To the next level, where we're going to see men become like leaders in their communities. vetting properly the women they're going to marry. Say no to women when they are confronted with the goods who are not their wives. Amazing present fathers. Manosphere 4.0. That's what we're talking about. Not talking about giving men tips on how to play women, or how to be leaders in every aspect of their lives, how to level up in all areas of their lives. We are here for it. Manosphere 4.0. Say it, sis. Manosphere 4.0 Academy coming soon. Now, I've said this before. I understand the reason why the Manosphere exists. I understand why the Red Pill community exists. Men have been led to believe that, and women too, that men are expendable. They're not needed in society today. They are accessories. They are tools to provide what women want in life: money, cars, clothes, bags, shoes, homes, and children. So, men, you guys have to give all of that without expecting anything in return, and you got to be happy with that. So, as a result, and that's largely in part of the third wave feminism movement, moving into the fourth wave, which is kind of crazy, where today modern women believe that they don't have to give anything in order to receive anything, that they are entitled to receive specific treatment from men. I don't buy that. I think everything in relationships is reciprocal, not transactional, but reciprocal. I give and you give. I receive and you receive. We give it to each other. But a lot of modern women expect certain things, but will shun any kind of expectation from them. So, men, I'm encouraging you guys to level up. I see the premise behind why we have the Manosphere. I see why channels such as Just Pearly Things, MTR, The Young Men in Miami, the late Kevin Samuels, O'Shea Duke Jackson, Obsidian, and others in the space rose to prominence because they are feeding men something that men have been craving. And that's just a sense of appreciation, a sense of we see you, brethren, and we want to help you out in some way, form, or fashion. Even though some of these channels, if we call it a buck, aren't helping anything and anybody but their pockets. So, yes, thanks for subscribing, Tasha. Oh, we have a new subscriber. Somebody just joined the Harrison Extended Family. Shout out to Tasha Foster for joining the Harrison Extended Family. What's going on, Gracious Greatness? And Miss Lackey's in the house. What's up? So, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. We are looking to level up in amazing ways in this new era of self-accountability for men. All right? One of the first things we'll be doing is talking about my self-accountability. And yes, if you look closely, your boy needs a haircut. Whenever you see my hair curly like this, it's because I wake up in the morning and my hair texture is like unmanageable. It gets to a place like this where it's unmanageable. So I put a little bit of water and pomade and just go like that with it so it could curl up. Then I leave the house. It's one of the things that, men can do, when their hair is short like this. But you see my lineup is like all crazy and stuff, and my fade is going, and I made an appointment for next Thursday to get my hair cut. So next week I'll be fresh. All right. But yeah, for next couple of live streams, you're gonna see me with my hair woofing, and it's all good. Like, just don't make fun of me. Just I got to be accountable to that. Like my hair is crazy right now. It is, but love me anyway, please. Love me anyway. All right. So You guys see the title and the thumbnail. We're going to get into some interesting topics, and I promise you, I probably won't be hitting the danger. No, I hit it anyway.
Danger.
But it won't be a dangerous show. Okay. Some people may get triggered because whenever you're talking about man improvement and man accountability, or leveling up men, encouraging men, you always have the left portion or the other side of this space not wanting men to receive any kind of encouragement. They just don't. They would like to consume content that bashes men over and over and over again, especially if they are handsome, especially if they have light eyes, especially if they are like 6'5" and muscular, married and hiding it. They don't mind it as long as they're being told what they want to hear. But then when there's a man like myself who want to encourage men and women and see healthy relationships, you're going to have women coming in the comment section saying all kinds of craziness, talking about their one-sided perspective. And I tend to try to look at things from an eagle's eye point of view, from the top down, so I can see it all and try to be as objective as possible. And yes, as you can tell, I am a man, but I can be objective, and I will always try to be. All right. Not perfect. I will get a couple of things wrong, and I am open for criticism, as some of you guys know, in the comment sections of my videos. Some of you guys who have hit me up in the DM, giving me some gentle and not so gentle rebukes. I usually accept it in stride. I digest it, pray about it, and if it's right, it's right, and if it's wrong, I just let it fly. But today, we're going to be talking about men and 5 ways men can make themselves more valuable. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not coming from the angle of what would make a man more valuable to women, because we tend to be single-minded when it comes to stuff like this and consuming content all about women and making yourself valuable to women, making yourself more desirable to women. You have all like podcasts dedicated to that alone. So men aren't leveling up for themselves. They're leveling up in hopes to bag a woman, which causes many men out there, you guys are watching, you know who you are, you know exactly who you are, who will rent vehicles, put a lease on a house that you cannot afford, not even a mortgage, but a lease you cannot afford. Lease and rent a car you cannot afford, or borrow one from your boy, just so that you can front how valuable you are to a woman. You know what?
Danger.
I'm about to make some people upset, and it's okay. If you are upset, it probably applies to you. Just make some changes. Okay? You front. But let's talk about actual ways that men can make themselves more valuable, not just to women. Because trust me, men, our downfall is believing and operating in this world, navigating through life with the sole purpose of trying to make ourselves more valuable to women. That should not be our goal. Our goal is not to try to, because then essentially you would be considered what many would call a simp. And that is like the 4-letter word of the manosphere community, the red pill community, right? You don't want to be considered a simp if your whole purpose in life is to level up so that you can make yourself more valuable to a woman. No, you make yourself more valuable, period, in life, period. Because if you are a valuable person, you're not just valuable to the woman in your life and the children in your life, but you're valuable to everybody in your ecosystem, in your sphere of influence. You're valuable to them. And today we're just going to talk about 5 ways, even though there's many more. This is not an exhaustive list. This is not one of those things where you can, all I have to do is these 5 things. Consider this a starter. Consider this an appetizer to a 5-course meal in which I'm giving you these 5 steps as an appetizer, but you're going to have to finish the meal yourself, meaning you have to cook it yourself, find the ingredients yourself, level up yourself. This is just the starter. So I'm just pushing you in the right direction. Pretty much like how the premise of me writing my book. If you don't know, I wrote a book called From a Fatherless Father to His Sons. And all it is a guide for young men growing up without fathers to push them toward the avenue of manhood. Me, pretty much the lessons I learned growing up that I teach to my sons and the young men that I mentor. I'm not telling you what man you should be. I'm just putting you in the direction of the man that you can grow into, right? And my thing is, I am here with these 5 things that you could do to improve yourself and level up and make yourself more valuable, not just to women, but to everybody, as an appetizer, a starter to get you going. Now, I said a lot, and some of you guys going to be in the comments saying, Dre, you're talking too much. Get to the point. I'm going to get to the point, all right? Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you would like to join the discussion, you can do, she is on it. Yeah, I need to hire her. I need to hire the sis Chelsea because she is like the moderator like no other. I appreciate you so much, sis. Yeah, so there's a link in the chat. If you're watching the chat, there's a link for you guys to purchase the book. If you guys would really like the book, it's a good book. But if you look in the pinned comment, there's a link that you can join the discussion or you can call in to share what you guys would like to say. All right, let's make this an interactive show. So one way, and I have these numbered, but they're not numbered on this, but this is not an exhaustive list. And no, I'm lying. I'm saving the best of these 5 for last. So although the first 4 actually may have a specific order of importance, but it could be interchangeable based on where you are in your life. But the 5th one, I'm saving the best for last, is the most important thing I'm going to talk to you guys about today. So please make sure you guys wait until the end so that you understand the most important thing a man can do to be more valuable to others. All right. So let's get it. All right. The first thing that a man can do to make themselves more valuable to people is to know what you are here on this planet to do. There is absolutely no value that any man can bring to anybody if he doesn't know his purpose. Gentlemen, young man, you need to know your purpose. And no, your purpose is not out here to procreate with multiple women, Nick Cannon. That's not your purpose. All right. What are you on this planet to do? What are you skilled to do? What are you passionate about? What are you operating in? What gifts are you operating in? What is your purpose? Now, ladies, if you're watching this, leave a comment down below in the chat. Answer this question. How frustrating is it to be involved with somebody, a man, who doesn't have purpose or who's not on their purpose? Leave the comment. Let me know what you guys think. Is it frustrating? Do you care? Do you not care? Do you not care? How frustrating is it to be involved with a man who's not living on their purpose? Let me know. And men, this is an opportunity to take notes because women appreciate a man who's on their purpose. Society appreciates a man who is on his purpose. You will become more confident as a man when you're living on your purpose. Chelsea single, fellas. I'm not saying this so that you guys can go and slide in her DMs, all right? Because you can slide in her DMs. She's just going to filter it through me and the brothers here on YouTube, and we're going to identify who's the bozos and who's not. But she loves a man with a plan. People in general feel more secure in the presence of a man who is on his purpose, living on his purpose. Let me get a sip of my decaf coffee. They have a plan. And with that plan, it's centered around his purpose. And he's living it out. He's living it out. Not all over the place, not risking everything and all things. And I'm not saying that you can't be an entrepreneur. Be an entrepreneur. If your purpose is to 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 be innovative and to be on the cutting edge, that can be an attractive trait to people in general. Right? We need people in life that are visionaries. Just like we need people who can help bring that vision to life. I get it. I get it. But if you don't know your purpose, you'll be no value to anybody, including yourself. Which is why
Danger.
we have so many young men, not every man is like this, but so many young men still living in mom and them's basement, striving to hopefully be a video gamer at the age of 33. They're not living on purpose. They themselves also know that they are of no value to anybody, so they don't mind living in their parents' basement as a hermit, playing video games and living life through an avatar on PS5 or Xbox or anything like that. But men who are on their purpose, they're out there adding value to people. And because they add value to people, a young lady may see how valuable you are and will put themselves in a position like Ruth put herself in a position to be identified by Boaz so that she can see, so that you can see her. So that you can see her. If I'm making sense right now, please like this video. If you like what I'm saying, put a 1 in the chat. If you don't like what I'm saying, put a 2 in the chat. And then my moderators will block you. Just kidding. Just kidding. Chelsea, be on that though. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. So real talk. Real talk. You got to be on your purpose, man. You got to be on your purpose. Right? Things happen in life. Things happen in life. We fail in so many different areas, brothers, all the time. But we get back up and keep moving in our purpose. Period. We just keep moving. That's what we do. And as we do that, as we function in that way, society, our communities will say that's a person of value. Women will say that's a man of value. People would say, I want to be connected to that person. Okay? Am I talking to you guys? Hopefully I'm adding value to you guys. If I'm adding value, please hit that like button. Greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to support the channel with a super chat, I will gladly receive that. If you're watching the replay, hit that super thanks and make a donation to the channel to help keep this content going forward. All right. Couple more things I want to discuss with you guys. Another thing that you must do in addition to knowing what you are here to do, living in your purpose, is knowing your priorities. Now, I mentioned before about the 33-year-old aspiring gamer, right? In his mama and them's basement. Okay. I don't find anything wrong with grown men playing video games. If I could be honest with you, before I went back to school in 2012 I started all over. So I had to get my associate's, bachelor's, all that stuff. I played video games all the time. In fact, I was like a Call of Duty head. I handled my business as a dad, tried to handle my business as a husband at the time. But I need an outlet, right? And I played Call of Duty. But things happened. I became unemployed. I was almost homeless. And you know what I could not do? Play video games. Why? Because I had to be on my purpose. So I need to focus. So if you're using it as an outlet, that's one thing. But if you're using it as an avatar to live in a life that you wish you had, man, that's not what it's about. Know your priorities. Understand them. And here's the thing. Priorities tend to shift depending on where you are in your life. As a husband and a father, my priorities will be a little bit different than just a man who is a husband, or a man who's just a father, or a man who's neither. or a man who is 18 trying to find himself, or a man who is 45, who is established. Our priorities tend to shift. You got to know your priorities, but there are certain things that are non-negotiable in your priorities, depending on where you are in your life. Family, well, before that, God is number one. Your relationship with God should always be number one in your list of priorities. And you could say, well, Dre, I don't believe in God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But God should always be number one on your list of priorities. But then if you're not married, if you're single, your family. If you are married, your wife. If you are a parent, God, wife, or God, family, or God, children, and family. All right. Or God, wife, children, then family. All right. Or if you are in a situation where you've been divorced, unfortunately, it'll be God, children, then family. All right. And then work, and then grinding, and then all those things. Because here's the thing about purpose and priorities. People tend to conflate the two. If you're living on purpose, sometimes people go so far in what they're doing in the attempt to fulfill that purpose that they misunderstand their priorities. Understand this. Your priorities, your purpose is connected to your priorities in this. Some men will grind hard so that those who they care for prioritize can be cared for. So men will grind in order to care for those who they prioritize. They don't necessarily put their purpose in front of their family or who they got to prioritize, but they're using their purpose to help care for those that they prioritize. What's going on, Blaxploitation? Thank you so much for being here. So you got to know your priorities and where you are in life and how those priorities align for where you are in life. You got to know your priorities to be valuable. Because if you don't know your priorities, you'll be no valuable to anybody. You won't be valuable to anybody. You'll be confused. You'll find yourself frustrated with everybody and anything. And with that frustration, people would see it and say, you know what? I don't want to be around this person. This person adds nothing to my life. And in return, those people can't add nothing to yours. A lot of men find themselves in poor situations because they prioritize poorly. And, I'm going to say this.
Danger.
Many cases, the reason why men prioritize poorly is because they're selfish. The only people that they tend to see is themselves. They want certain things in life. They want to achieve certain things in life. They want to do what they want in life and at any specific moment. All right. Their priorities is solely based on how they're feeling at the moment. And that's a mistake for men. That's a bad place for men to be at. Bad place. You should have your priorities established and set, especially if you're trying to live on your purpose, bro. For real. For real. Okay? It's extremely important. Extremely important. The bro says that grind on our purpose is one of the cornerstones of being a productive man. Say that again for the brothers in the back. And for the sisters listening who's trying to understand why is the man, I know he loves me and I know he's a good provider, but why is he grinding so hard? I wish he wouldn't have to. Well, he's trying to take care of those who he prioritizes. That's what makes him valuable to you. Because the flip side is this. He doesn't grind. He doesn't make sure that everything is cared for and you are cared for. Then you're going to feel like you're not valued. Can I get a sip of this? Put some whipped cream in it too. It's really good. Really good. And it's not going to keep me up at night. You guys still with me, people? All right, let's keep going. So know your priorities. So 1, it's not in order. 1, live on your purpose. Know your purpose. Know what you are here to do on this planet. 2, know your priorities. 3, level up without burning out. Hear me out, brothers. Hear me out, ladies. Men, being content in certain things is good. And having appreciation for what you have is good. Having one wife and kids with that one wife is good. It's good. That kind of contentment is good. But sometimes you'll find yourself in a place in life where you need to really level up, especially in today's current market, in today's current economy, because inflation is not fair. It really isn't fair. Okay. Expenses tend to go up exponentially, while our salaries tend to go up incrementally. So while we're getting 2% raises at work, inflation's growing 8%. You know? So now my bills have increased 8%. You've given me a 2% raise. I cannot live like this. And in 20 years, you may be homeless. Not me. I'm just not speaking into existence. But so what do you want to do? Identify ways to level up. The dope thing about leveling up is this. In most cases, as you level up, the higher you go, the less responsibility you have, the more opportunity you have to delegate. Which is why I tell men, right? In your 20s, grind. In your 20s, get your skills, like develop your skills, level up in your 20s, keep gaining all the skills that you can. Work for people, intern for people, right? Work for whoever you can that you can learn from. By the time you're 35, take all the skills you learn and start a business based on the skills that you learn. You'll find that your responsibilities will become less. You'll be able to delegate more, and you have leveled up your life in a way that you have never thought based on the skills that you've developed. Now you're hiring them. And if you know what this and so things like this becomes a cycle, because now you're 35 hiring 21-year-olds, helping them develop skills, right? And then eventually they will be business owners. That's how communities will develop. That's how we keep giving back to the people behind us, leaving a legacy. But you got to level up. If you're in school, level up. Level up. Today, school is kind of weird though, because school is like one of those things where you spend all this money for a degree only to get paid, $40,000 a year. So school is one of those touchy topics, which I may do a live stream on and get you guys' opinion on it. But I don't see anything wrong with going to school. Like me, I had to go back to school to get a degree in teaching so that I could become a teacher. I had to go back to school to take some classes, all right, so I can become administration. Okay, that's how leveling up work. So, men, level up, but don't burn yourself out, because men tend to do so much, and then they crash and burn in the process. You know who's susceptible to this? Pastors. Pastors are susceptible to this. They're doing so much, trying to level up the church and level up their status and all, and then they wind up burning out. Burning out. You know who else? Men who are the primary breadwinners in the home. Because they got to work so much. And I got to be honest, I am susceptible to this. Work so hard, because you got to pay all the bills, because inflation goes up 8%. Your salary only goes up 2%. So you got to work overtime. You got to work and grind, right? Just so that you can pay the bills. But the blessing about leveling up is that you don't have to grind as much. You may have to grind for a little bit, but eventually the grind stops. You tend to coast and you've leveled up. And again, you get to delegate responsibilities to people. You start a business and you delegate. You get a promotion and you delegate. The higher you go, the less work you need to have. Even though it's more responsibility, but it's less work. That's where you want to be, gentlemen. Level up. As you level up, you become more valuable to people. As you level up, you become more valuable to the women in your life. They start looking at you differently. And I'm not talking about the superficial leveling up, because the superficial leveling up tend to make you visible to women who really are in relationships to get the bag.
Danger.
Real talk. So be careful. All right. Be careful. Okay. As you level up, understand why you're leveling up. And that's that you can be of value to people, not so that you can get the attention of a woman. That's not why we level up. All right. Another one. Increase your knowledge and impart that knowledge to others. Increase your knowledge. And I'm not talking about going to school. I'm talking about learning things. Education. Life is education. Every time you're living, every time you're moving, you should be learning something new. And what you learn, you impart to others, your children, your grandchildren, your family, your students, your community, your wives, your husbands, your nieces, nephews. Always increase knowledge. Always. Be well read. Get a book, a couple of books, and just read. Read. Learn. We tend to think of education only in the sense of schooling. Some of the most intelligent men I know didn't even graduate high school. No college, no degrees, maybe a GED, but smart, man, smart. They know, they have knowledge, and they use that knowledge. They apply that knowledge, and they impart that knowledge. If you have knowledge and you're willing to impart it, I think that's probably the second most valuable thing a man can offer anyone. The first thing I'm going to talk about a little bit later. But the second most important thing a man can offer anyone is what they know and what they learned. The young men in Florida won't tell you this. They'll tell you, you got to get money. You got to treat these women. No. Knowledge. Skills. Knowing things and being able to take what you know and give it to others. Teach it to others. That is the second most important thing that a man can have to make them extremely valuable. And this is just my opinion, to be honest with you. But to make them extremely valuable to society and to the women in their life. Even though we're not just trying to level up for women. But knowledge. When it comes to hypergamy, right? There's two elements that are important in hypergamy to women. Most women want to be involved with a man who makes more than them or who is smarter than them. Okay? Money comes and goes. Okay? Comes and goes. All right? And if you find a woman that's loyal, you can be rich or poor. She's still going to be loyal to you. But if you find a woman, right, and you are not smart, no matter how much money you make or how much money you lose, she's only going to see you as a bozo. All right? She won't be, and if you're not smart, she'll probably leave you if you go broke. But a smart man, a woman is confident knowing that, okay, made some mistakes, but he's smart enough to get out of this. Okay. Hypergamy is a real thing. I ain't mad at it at all. But men got to understand that. Not that you're trying to chase a woman, but you got to understand that. Knowledge is extremely important. What you know, what you learn. So I tell men, stay learned. Stay seeking knowledge. Be able to speak about multiple array of topics and know what you're talking about. Or be in a room where you may not know what you're talking about, but being able to learn and willing to learn, regurgitate and digest what you're learning and understand it and get understanding from that. It's important. It's important. Knowledge. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is the most important thing. This is non-negotiable. This is number one. For you to be absolutely valuable to society or to women, you got to be willing to follow the biblical principles of manhood. Now, listen to the talking points of many of the podcasts in the Manosphere and Red Pill space. Listen to their podcasts. A lot of them get their talking cues from the Word of God, except they twist it to fit their own narrative. A lot of them will talk, and I've heard some podcasts. I'm like, yo, that sounds like that's from the Bible, but their interpretation and how they're implementing it, it's all about them. When men follow the biblical principles of manhood, societies tend to flourish. We know that from history. When men follow the biblical principles, they flourish. When they have God in their life and they live life with God in their frontal lobe, societies tend to flourish. Even in the midst of persecution, societies will tend to flourish. We know that because we look at the early church and the rise of Constantine and how the Christianity became one of the major religions of the world in a matter of 2,000 years. And so Christian societies tend to flourish and grow, and in Christian societies they have the most technical advances. When men follow biblical principles of manhood, they become extremely valuable in the kingdom of God and even in the secular realm. They become valuable. Their guidance is sought after. Their examples are shown and mimicked. Extremely important that we follow the biblical patterns of manhood and not get our cues from these podcasters that are twisting the word of God to fit their narrative. Because a lot of times they take the word of God and want to point it at women and say, this is what you should be doing. Rarely do you hear these Red Pill Manosphere podcasters talking about, this is what the word of God says about men. This is what we should be doing. This is stuff that many men don't want to hear. If you're really looking to level up and make yourself more valuable as a whole, your goal should not be to make yourself valuable to women, as the young man in Miami would tell you, or some of these RTs would tell you. That's not the goal. Even KS, before he became big with the whole talking to women, was giving tips for men to level up. He wasn't always the nicest when he was doing it. He was trying. I'll give you this. Many of us don't like to be told what we need to be doing. We want to be told that we're okay where we are and that everybody around us need to be doing things. Women with this third wave feminism in the Western society are trying to make themselves equal to men. Okay. What should happen is this: if women are trying to become equal, quote unquote, to men, men should be leveling up higher than that. So if they're running at the same pace and men are here and women are here, if they're running at the same pace, it should be a steady progression on both ends. But what was happening is men are going up like this, but women are going up like this, and they're meeting. And what happens at this point? Women will become more successful in certain arenas than men. And men start complaining that the women don't want them and they're shaming them because they're not as successful as they are. I always said this, right? And I say this, and I stand by this. Manosphere 4.0, the era of self-accountability. It's not up to women to dumb themselves down in order for men to make themselves feel good about themselves. It's up to men to start leveling up.
Danger.
That's not a pill that many people want to swallow. Many men don't want to swallow that because it takes work. So they would rather listen to podcasters speaking down at women, telling them that they really need to dumb down their standards instead of men looking to level up. Not to meet women's standards, but to make themselves more valuable to society as a whole. Because once that happens, the women that you would want will see you and put themselves in a position to be found by you. It's not that attractive to hear that. I know. You guys would rather me talk bad about women, come down on women. Nah, I appreciate women. And I see the hard work that many women have done. How they have fought to receive the same things that men have, at least in the workspace that men have doing the same job. I see it. I tell you this also. I also see how, and this is
Danger.
what women don't want to hear. I also see how women are still getting paid the same amount for being in the same position as some men, but not doing the same job as the men. But they finessed it beautifully. They finessed it beautifully. They have. But it's not their job to dumb down. We need to level up. We need to make ourselves more valuable to society. And when you do that, you'll be putting yourself in a position to find a woman that is compatible with you, that's going to allow you to lead, that's going to see your value and appreciate what you can bring to society and to your family. I knew it. I knew it.
Danger.
I knew it. Jobs like sanitation, jobs like in the military, things like that. Okay. Not all jobs, but jobs that require like manual labor and things like that. So those kinds of jobs. So yeah. Okay. And that's not up to like for opinion. It's just, it is what it is. Some men are biologically able to do certain tasks that women cannot do. Okay. And I'll give you a perfect example, a real life example. I once worked at a job, right, where I was the only male working there. And there were some jobs in that building. I was a minority. And not only was I the minority, I think I got paid the least out of everybody in the building. Okay. I had the same job title as some, but I got the least pay. out of the women in the building. And I was told one time, right, to do a specific job. Had to do with garbage. It wasn't in my job description, but it had to do with job and cleaning up something. And I was told, right? I was told that this is a man's job. A man needs to do this. I was going to ask, okay, then what jobs in this building are women exclusively doing? Because I do everything. But I didn't want to lose my job. Like I was at a point where like I needed this job because I was like that close to homelessness. I'm getting paid least than everybody in the same position, doing what they do and doing extra because I was a man and I was expected to do these specific jobs at this place, in this workplace. So those kind of jobs. So granted, most women don't want those physical jobs. And that's also another a factor also. So we live in a time now where, and if let's be absolutely real, we live in a time now where women should be able to work the same type of jobs that men work and get the same pay. Okay. And in most cases, men get paid more because they're doing the jobs that most women will not do. Most men will work overtime to make money, when most women will rather not work overtime and be home with their families. So, but oh yeah, absolutely. Ask your question. Hopefully I can answer it. All right. If I can't answer it, I'll just go to Google and get the answer from there. Yeah, but what's your question, bro? Or sis, bro. What's your question? So, yeah. So I've been in that kind of situation, sis, and yeah, real life, like real life. I remember one time, I was in the middle of a job, doing something that men are supposed to be doing at this place, and it was at that point I was like, yeah, I can't work here no more. I love the people I work with, but I can't work here no more. I can't. Yeah. Of course, you can call in if you look in the pinned the comment pinned up at the top. You can call in, and I'll get you in, bro. And if you guys have a question, please don't hesitate to ask the question. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yeah, so please call in. I want to see if I could add it again. Let me copy. I can't copy it. Let me copy. No, it won't let me copy it. Yeah, but if you go to the pinned comment, you see the number there, and you also can click the link to join the conversation. Yeah, but Alex, let me hear your question. And while they get their questions ready, I just want to recap 5 things that men can do to make themselves more valuable. Not exhaustive. This is just an appetizer. Okay, 5 things. The first thing I mentioned was, hold on, know what you're here to do, meaning know your purpose, know your why. Why do you exist? Okay. Next, know your priorities. Everybody has different priorities at different points in their life. What are your priorities right then and there? Level up without burning out. Increase your knowledge and impart that knowledge to others, and follow the biblical principles of manhood. Let's get this caller in.
Press 1. To send a voicemail, press.
Brother Blaxploitation, thank you so much for calling through.
Brother Dre, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
So this was a word today.
Thanks.
One of the things that I think a lot of brothers struggle with, I don't know if it's a lot of them, but let me speak for myself and others that I know. We are inundated with what's going on online. And we have this image that's presented to us about what a man, especially for Black men, how we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
The image that's presented to us right now, currently, is when you use the term level up,
Mhm.
most of the time it's strictly financially.
Yeah.
They'll talk about going to the gym and whatnot,
Yeah.
but it's purely financially.
Mhm.
And it is geared towards women.
Yeah.
Because the narrative right now is, if you don't get a woman, it's because you're a loser. If you don't do this, it's because, you're a buster, you're a dusty. Those are the words that are flying around. You're a brokey and all that stuff.
Mhm. And you know what? You're hearing it from these podcasters that claim they want to help men, and from these podcasters of women who can't stand men. You're hearing it from both sides.
Facts.
Yeah.
And I know the game has changed a lot, and I know that women are demanding certain things. It's totally understandable, inflation and everything. But I've had discussions with a lot of brothers recently, and I've told them that they have to be careful about not focusing solely on getting money,
Mhm.
because your character has to level up as well. I heard this story. I was on O'Shea's channel,
Mhm.
and he was talking about how, even if you're not where you want to be, you're still in a good place. Just focus on getting where you want to be.
Mhm.
And he was talking about his own struggle.
Yeah.
There was this man that I started talking to, this young brother that I was talking to. He gave a story about how he was making around $89K a year. He was a layman or something like that.
Mhm.
And then his mother got sick. She had like 5 strokes.
Damn.
He had to give up his job, move in with his mom to take care of her, and he dropped down to like 25, 30K. For anyone that would pay attention, he would automatically be disqualified for getting himself a good living, because he doesn't qualify as a man.
Yeah.
And I think what we have to do is we have to be careful to not put so much emphasis on money.
Mhm.
I know it's very important. I'm not discrediting that at all. I think we should strive for that.
Yeah.
But as we know, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Mhm.
And if we focus so much on that aspect, I think we lose godliness. I
Mhm.
think we lose structure in our lives, because we tell ourselves that once we do get money, everything's supposed to fall into place.
Yeah.
I think that's a very tricky, like it's a minefield.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. I subscribe to that.
Yeah.
Me myself, I've had to go through a couple struggles here and there, but yeah, I'm with that all the way. And I was listening to the chat. I was reading the chat.
Yeah.
And I don't know who said it. And this one sister was like, "Tell men that women's education, stop telling them that women's education shouldn't matter."
Yeah. She said irrelevant. I'm gonna address that. So. Yeah. I want to address that.
Well, it is true. It's like we obviously want our obviously we want our women to be as educated as possible. Sometimes men say that in order to keep them at a particular level.
Yeah.
We are told that we don't have to go to school now.
Yeah.
Because everything is offered online.
Mhm.
I have nothing against you, doing stuff online. I got nothing against trades, but we are almost discouraged from continuing education.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a problem for us if we're meant to be leaders.
Yeah.
We can't do that if we have no knowledge. Like you said, our intelligence doesn't, it's stunted.
Yeah.
And we say, well, I'm a grown man. I wear the pants. You need to follow me.
Mhm.
She's like, but you can't hold a conversation, brother.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
but the point, I think you made a good point.
I'm gonna leave it.
I think you made a good point about what C. Joe J was saying about the stop telling brothers, tell brothers to stop saying that women's education is irrelevant. I think the point you said, because I think I hinted to this about dumbing down women so that men don't have to level up. I think I think you're absolutely right, because some of them probably just telling these men, to the women, not to do that because men may not want to be in that space. But I think that's a two-sided coin to this. Many men don't really concern themselves by what degrees a woman has. They're more concerned about how can a woman take care of the family, and that's just biological. So that, like, the question would be, in essence, like, based off of what men and women need, the dynamic of relationships. If I have a master's degree in psychology, right? But I'm working as a janitor making minimum wage at a McDonald's, that degree means absolutely nothing to her. I'm not using that degree
Correct. Yeah.
to help earn for the family. Okay. So
Very true.
it's not, so I can walk around and say I have all these degrees, but I'm a janitor in a McDonald's making minimum wage. It's irrelevant.
Right.
It doesn't translate to life. So I think men are trying to just communicate, not that your degree is irrelevant, okay, but how can it translate to our family dynamic? How does it improve our family? And I think that's the concern that most men have. But on the flip side to that,
Very true.
yeah, on the flip side to that, men, if men are shaming women for getting degrees, that's also wrong too. We can't be like, yeah, your degree means nothing to me. No, like, it shows that she has a brain and she can add value to the home, intellectually. So chill, brother, chill. Let's not do that. But women also got to understand that many men, they aren't concerned about the degree you have, and if they are, how does that relate to leveling up our family? And I think hopefully that answers the question, that addresses that, effectively.
Absolutely. One last thing that I'm going to say before I dip off
All right, cool.
is, I said it in the chat. One of the ways that I was taught that, you become a man, because we have a tendency to say, I'm a grown man, I'm a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the ways I was taught that you are a man is by being responsible for someone else. We have a tendency to think that as a man, we just do what we do, and I'm grown, so I get to do what I want. But when you have people that you're responsible for,
Mhm.
it's not a question of doing what you want. You do what you need to do.
Yeah, do what you have
Right?
to do.
So you take care of your family, you take care of your loved ones, and people are depending on you, and you have to be reliable for that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not something that's really talked about.
Yeah, and that's the connection between purpose and priorities, right? When you have your priorities straight and you're living on your purpose, you understand that your purpose is going to help care for those of you that you prioritize in your life, right? Which also connects to what you were saying about how a man who was making 89K went down to making like 20 because he had to take care of his mother. Priorities tend to shift depending on where you are in your life. And if your family becomes ill, you're going to need to take a financial loss because your priority is to take care of your family. Right? And that makes you valuable. So you're absolutely right. It's not, a man's value is not connected solely to his bank account or how much he earns or what he can, give to somebody else. But thanks so much for calling through, bro. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, bro. Peace. And I also wanted to address this question. I didn't get a chance to read it first, so I'm going to read it now. How should people of God that are dating handle sexual history of your boo, i.e., with high body count, brother who has a same-sex past? Should these people still consider marriage? How to overcome this? Good question. So, as a Christian, I believe that God's forgiveness is real. And when you come to Christ, you are a new creation. Old things have passed away. You have become new. However, some of the consequences will continue to linger after people become a Christian. Part of the consequences is a man or woman with a high body count. When you're bringing that into a relationship, into a Christian relationship or a Christian marriage, there tends to be some things involved. One of those things is accessing your mental Rolodex of past experiences and trying to bring that into your marriage. So I would say it's important for people to vet and be honest after vetting, but be honest, vet properly, know who you're getting involved with. And people make mistakes. This whole high body count, I understand how the red pill and the manosphere space tend to speak about it, right? But I got to be honest with you, objectively speaking, I know that men or women are built differently biologically. Experiences matter also. So just because we have an outie and they have an innie, it doesn't make it right that men can have a higher body count and be okay, and women can have a high body count or the same body count and not be okay. I think having a high body count from men and women is not necessarily a good thing when you're trying to pursue a godly relationship in the future. There's consequences to it. Okay. You're liable to try to go into your mental Rolodex and think of things that you used to do in the past with homegirl or homeboy. And if you get married and your wife or husband can't perform in the same way, it causes an issue. I think people of God should really go into to handling our significant other's body count with forgiveness, with grace, and with understanding of where the person was at that specific moment in their life. And they should not be shamed for it after they've given their heart to God, after they've received salvation and they become a new creation. They should not be shamed for it. So, but again, you need to know where you are and where your heart is, because if you know that you would struggle with being with somebody who has a high body count, and that's for men and women, then be mature enough and adult enough to say, listen, I think you have had a lot of partners and we're not married yet. I'm not sure if I can handle that. And leave it at that. Yeah. Hopefully I answered your question. All right. So stop trying to test drive. Trust the creator and don't drive a thing without that ring. Yeah, he always coming in with the bars. Always coming in. Men who want to be husbands, leaders, providers, protectors, dads, stepdads, and mentors are not simps. Those who choose being players eventually play themselves. I hear you, bro. I said it. LOL. Same dudes who claim women don't need a degree and need to be 1825 remind me of Mr. Wow. Remind me of Mr. from Color Purple. Wow. Good point. Thank you. But the woman doesn't just exist just for you. She has her own goals and interests. Absolutely. But then we're talking about priorities, right? A man who forsakes his family for their own goals and interests are shamed in society. A woman who forsakes her family for her own goals and interests is praised in society. We're looking at balance, right? Priorities. Family first. Okay? If your goals and priorities, if your goals and interests doesn't connect to your priorities, your family, what's really important to you, just like I say for men, for women, your priorities are really twisted. You can be gifted, talented, you could be a boss lady, all that stuff. At the end of the day, how does it translate to you being in the home? To husbands, you can be out there making all the money in the world, entrepreneur, conquering. Okay. But how does that translate to you being a good husband and good father? That's what it's about. So she can have her own goals and interests, but at the end of the day, right, she can have her own goals and interests and be lonely in the future. How does it connect to the family? Yes, hit that like button. Whew. It's a lot. Yes, Trey. Yep. Grace and peace. KL. Body count could matter, but whether they're a virgin or for the streets, if the soul isn't redeemed in Jesus, you could still have torture and warfare in your life. Agreed. Amen, Brother Dre. Slept on top five is culture. A man surrounded by faithful, mature, responsible, brave men is very important. Very, very important. This is where many churches have failed, Sally. And let's park and lot. Let's park right here for a second. KO, you have spoken truth there, and we know it's truth based on anecdotally what we see and the data. Okay, when you go in many churches, what you don't see is men, but you see a lot of women. Okay, what you don't see in a lot of prosperity-centered churches is men, because men know I am going to invest in what I know is going to bring a sure return. If I'm given to the church, it's so that I can support the work of God. Okay, not so that I can get money in return. Men don't think like that. Okay, and men typically don't have a place in the church. The only men that really have a place in the church are the men on the pulpits, the deacons, all that stuff. All the younger men, all the men coming in, a lot of men in churches seem to be threatened by those men. They like being able to have the attention of all the other women in the congregation. And it's not like they're sleeping with them, but they have their attention. And what's crazy is that a lot of the women in the church would rather listen to the guidance of their pastor than the guidance of their husbands. That is unbiblical. That is unbiblical. Even when Paul was talking to the women, saying that women should be silent, if you keep reading, Paul tells the family where they should be getting their guidance from the husband, from the man, right? So the reason why men haven't been able to find their place in churches is because they're hearing from the pulpit how great women are and how dysfunctional men are. So men don't want to be in church. And you're talking to somebody who was a pastor full-time, who is still active in his church today. And we have fallen short in building and raising up strong men in our churches, which is why many women complain. And no, we don't exist to be, be searching and chasing women. But many women complain that there are no good men in the church. And it's not all the fault of the men. They're not being guided. They're not. Which is why men really need to find other godly men to build, to grind, to sharpen each other's iron and just grow together and grow together. We need that. That answered the first part of the question. Okay. The second part, let me go back up. Should these people still consider marriage and how to overcome this? Well, yeah, they should. If they could. I'm not going to be out here saying people should consider marriage. They could consider marriage if they are willing to live with this person with grace and without judgment. They could. Understanding. So here's the thing. A person who has a genuine understanding, a real understanding of the Word of God and the work, the transformative work that Christ does in a person's life, a person who understands that, and this is just, it is what it is. This is the truth of the matter. A man or a woman who really understands and also have experienced the transformative work of Christ in their life will understand the mistakes of somebody else, and the same transformative work that happened in their life is happening in the life of somebody else. So if you are involved with somebody with a high body count or who have been in relationships in the past that were unbiblical, if you understand the grace that was imparted into you that transformed your life is also the same grace that transformed the person that you're interested in, then you know they are a new creation. You know that they are new in Christ. And Christ forgave all those shortcomings. So thrown in the sea of forgetfulness. So I think that you need to be honest with yourself. And if you know that you cannot let that go, then don't get involved with somebody who has high body counts or who have been in unbiblical relationships. And hopefully that answered the second part. All right. Hopefully that answered the second part. All right. Thank you, Sister Chelsea. Glory to God. No, it's not forsaking your family. You accommodate and compromise. But accommodate, accommodate what? That's I think pretty much we're saying the same thing. But I think at the core it's priority. Because a man and a woman, like I say it like this, I put it in my book. A child can grow in an absentee father home and still have the father living in the house because he's never there. He's never there. Just like the same with a child growing up in a home where the woman is always working. He or she can grow up without their mother. Priorities. Okay. Priorities. Does the question is like, how will it benefit the family at the end of the day? So yeah, you accommodate, you make certain compromises, but your family can't be that compromise. In fact, if you got to choose between your family and your job, then you need to compromise at your job. You don't compromise with your family. And that goes for men and women. Women don't need degrees. Mrs. Proverbs 31 might not have had a degree. She had the hustle, the money smarts, the self-control, and the dignity. But the same applies to men. 100% agree. 100% agree. Amen. Amen. Sad but true. The men are lacking in churches now. The messages are more feminine centered. It is. It is. How do we foster more male mentorship? We need more bull elephants coming in and taking their place in society, or hopefully seeing more men grow up to take the places of the men that weren't there in their lives, which I'm starting to see a lot of. But the problem with that is those men who are more active in their kids' lives aren't at a financial place to be found by women who expect more out of them. So, but more men are involved in their kids' lives. But the sacrifice and the compromise there is that they're earning less so that they can be active in their kids' lives. But yeah, so but the thing is, the truth of the matter is we need more to really force, especially in this modern age, we need men who even on social media are out here speaking the truth that would bring healing to families and to men as a whole, and not spitting rhetoric out there that demeans women and uplifts men, even if the men don't deserve to be uplifted because they're absolutely providing no valuable anything to society. 1 Timothy 3:6 says, "For of this sort are those who creep into households and make captives of gullible women, loaded down with sins, led away by various lusts." What are you talking about, Pastor Stag, man? You went to the scriptures for that one. It did. Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad I was able to answer it. All right. And yes, please check out my book. If you look inside the link, the moderator of all moderators, if anybody can, I'm gonna create a moderated plaque and give it to you, sis. Yeah, you can get my book there. Another question: how can you be confident that you can meet your future spouse's sexual needs if you wait until marriage? Good question. Good question. I've talked about this with young men. There's a couple of things that both of you guys, the two couples who happen to be who have waited until they're married, you guys got to understand this. The goal of sex in marriage, and if any of my students are watching this, please go to bed. It's 8:49. Go to bed. This is adult talk. So parents, if you're watching this with your kids,
Danger.
okay? All right. The goal is to please the other, not to try to seek your own pleasure. Okay. So you can meet your future spouse's sexual needs if you wait until marriage by active communication, identifying. And that's the beautiful thing about two people who have never been involved, right? Getting involved sexually after marriage. The beauty of exploration. Imagine this. You have the opportunity to explore the body and the sexual needs of the woman you married who has never had another man explore those sexual needs. and vice versa. Men, ladies, finding a man who have saved themselves, being able to explore those needs and identifying those things that make them tick. We tend to look at things very twisted in this society, guys. We do. Let's be honest. We take for granted the beauty of exploration. A lot of it is because we live in an over sexualized society where we're getting our sexual cues from videos that are unrealistic, that are made by people who are acting out and creating no, the beauty of exploration, guys. Like exploring each other. The thing is, and not being afraid to mess up and saying, how was that? How can I improve in that area? You know, like explore each other's bodies. Like you guys thinking that like marriage takes work, right? Marriage takes work. No one goes into marriage the perfect husband or the perfect wife. It's like nobody was going to go into marriage, especially if you're new, as the perfect sexual partner. That's why you grow together in that area and you explore each other's needs. And then and in the beauty of exploration, being able to find out what makes your spouse tick will give you immense pleasure. I'm speaking a whole lot of erotic stuff in my kids. I hope my students are in bed. I promise. You better be in bed. Gosh. Speaking as a married man of God. Yeah. Yes. And I think we tend to get our cues from the world, right? And let's be honest, many of us have been exposed to videos, magazines, videos, especially in this internet age, that we probably shouldn't have watched because it sort of messed our minds up as far as what we should be expecting from sex in marriage. Try to erase as much as you can of that from your mind. And don't go into your marriage expecting the same kind of experience you've seen in videos that you've watched when you may have struggled with, NORP. When you've struggled with NORP, reverse. When you struggle with NORP in the past, try not to go into your marriage expecting that kind of experience, but instead go into it hoping, willing, and lovingly entering marriage with the gift of exploration and exploring one another. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. How do we break free from those explicit videos that has darkened our minds? A lot of prayer, mental reconditioning, and I think also mentally letting yourself know, okay, this is not the reality. This is not the reality. I need to really go into my situations thinking about what is actually real. Okay. That's not reality, and it messed up a lot of us. So we need mental reconditioning. We need a lot of prayer, asking God to just renew our hearts in that area, our minds, because I'm not going to, maybe God will supernaturally erase it from your minds, but he's not going to do that for everybody. I saw a video a couple of weeks ago of a woman who said that God erased all her experiences from her mind. Believe God could probably do that. It's not likely. It's not going to happen all the time. I'm a realist. All right. I don't, sometimes we've done dumb things that we think about, but try not to go into your marriage with that, because it'll be a mistake. It really would be a mistake. And ask God to keep, renewing your mind and taking those things away from you. And as you develop new experiences sexually with your wife, you'll start to see that all those experiences that you had watching NORP doesn't compare, because what you are experiencing with your wife is tangible and real. You can actually touch it. All right. All right. So you can actually touch what you have with your wife. It's there. But the NORP is not a reality. They are paid to give the viewer an experience, and that's it. It's not real. It's a counterfeit. All right, hold on. Hold up. In marriage, you don't have to repent. You don't have to repent for. Yeah, you don't have to repent for that. Explore. Love. I actually coughed at the time I had to read that. It's kind of funny. I used to struggle with on for years. It took prayer, fasting, and thinking God is looking directly at me. He's everywhere. He's always looking. What do you do if one of the couple is not that sexually attracted to the other after getting married and having sex for the first time? Again, it's a process. That's when you communicate. And sexual attraction may come and go. I would say, I say this, and this may trigger some women.
Danger.
I think men and women should work on themselves physically. Stay physically healthy, to be sexually attracted to your spouse. Okay. But after the first time, it's okay. Stop going into it expecting. Listen, I got saved at 17, and when I was 17, I wasn't a virgin. My first time wasn't fireworks and angels and cupids and dancing around. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. So again, understanding why we're having sex in the first place. It's to connect with our spouse. When we go into it trying to create these NORP type of experiences, and it's our first time, we are going to terribly fall short every time. But if you go into physical intimacy for the first time with your spouse, understanding that the reason why we're going through this is so that we can develop a connection and a bond, not just to have a NORP type of experience, then you know that even though it's not equivalent to the experiences I've seen on TV or the internet, what I have with my spouse that we're sharing for the first time is way more special, and it's only going to get better and better and better and better. Especially if you go into it knowing that I'm doing this so that I can connect with my spouse. Yeah, because you can actually touch it. All right, guys, I gotta go. I've been on this for hour and a half. Oh, he got another question, bro. All right. Last question. Should you know that you are sexually attracted to each other in a premarital relationship with the goal of marriage, the marriage marketplace? There's nothing wrong with that. Like finding somebody attractive, or even finding somebody who you are sexually attracted to, who's physically what you're attracted to is not a bad thing. It's not. Attraction is important. It is. But we also got to understand that that's not everything. It's not everything. But it's important because, truth be told, most people don't stay in the same physical condition as the day they are married. Beauty is fleeting. It's fleeting. So it's a key point of a marriage, but it's not the key point of a marriage. It's one of the key points of a marriage. So is it bad to find somebody physically attractive? Yes. Is it bad to marry them for that reason? Yes. Yeah. So you don't want to marry somebody because they're physically attractive. But if you find somebody physically attractive and then you've gone beyond the physical attraction to see who they are as a person, their relationship with God, if you guys are compatible, okay. Now let's move on to the next phase. Let's get married. Let's enjoy each other's and explore each other's physical attraction to one another. Yeah. All right. So no more questions, Alex. Chill. All right. I'm done. Alex, I'm done. If you ask one more question, I'm going to time you out. No more questions. I'm joking. We ain't going to time you out. But I appreciate your Oh, what's going on, bro? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Always dropping jewels for the people. Appreciate you, bro. And I appreciate you too, my brother. You and your wife are amazing and valuable people in this content in the YouTube content space. And also, if you guys want to see like a beautiful, healthy marriage, check out Seek Things Above TV and his wife Berean Babes. They have amazing content on YouTube, and they do on occasion things together. So you can see the compatibility there. So they're good examples. So thank you so much, bro. Really appreciate it. All right. Hold on. KL says, if she's not wearing a burqa, you have an idea. But and if you have an idea of her approach to the physical in other ways, like how she plays volleyball or goes hard at the gym, pro tip, bro. She goes hard at the gym. You're probably in a good place, bro. All right, so you're good. Can you talk about good character? I can. All right, character is extremely important, but I gotta go. And here's the thing: I think good character for men is a non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. All right, good character for men, non-negotiable. I've talked about that so many times on my channel, but I gotta go. I really gotta go. But you know what I'm gonna do? Is it Joe J? I don't want to mess up your name. What I'm going to do is I'll set up another live stream and I'll talk about character. I'll talk more about character. I have other live streams that I've done that talked about character. In fact, let me see if I can find a video now and I'll put it in the comments so that I don't leave you hanging. It's definitely in my channel. I just want to go here real quick and put the link there. Before I'm pretty sure Chelsea's looking for the video now and probably gonna beat me to it. But I did hold on. Where we at? I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. How much you hold on. Oh wow, I have that. I got some dope topics. I'm going back. Wow. Hold on. Relationship. Hold on. Here's one. Here's one. And I'm about to give you another one if I can find it. I know I talked about character before. I got called out. Gosh, man, I have so many videos. Here's a good one. One that I did with Brother Jermaine from that Christian Fam channel. Let's put this there too so that you can see this one also. This one may be more what you're looking for, sis. All right. But oh, there's another one. Dang, look at that. Oh, gosh, I'm looking at myself in these videos. I'm like, dang, it's cringy. All right, so I'll put a couple of links in there for you guys to take a look at. Hopefully you can find a little bit more about what my core principles of manhood is from those videos. But if you watch a lot of the videos, I have content about men, mostly about men, but on occasion I'll touch on topics pertaining to women in relationships. All right, so hold on. So I'll beat you to it. I'm almost done. All right, you're welcome. Just new to this whole thing. I hear you. But yeah, if you're engaged and you're looking to get married, one of the more beautiful things about marriage is the opportunity to have first explorations together. Okay, you can look through. All right, thanks. I appreciate it. I'll beat you to it. All right, you should start redoing. Yeah, I should start redoing some of them. Yeah, I may do that. And a sister who is comfortable in her own skin, not comparing herself to others, is truly beautiful. She's a keeper. Absolutely. Best advice is to get under elders and deacons you admire, who are happily and successfully married, not under other single guys. Yeah, and no women should be under any single guy. figuratively and literally. I'm just saying. All right. Jay, start reeling these videos. I should. All right. He's single. All right. But when it's time to get married, I got your back, bro. I got your back. All right, guys. I am ending it. I'm not reading any more comments. All right. And Blaxploitation is no longer on the call. So let me just take this off. I'm not reading any more comments. So stop asking me questions. It's not going to happen. All right. I'm putting on the theme music right now, the end music. That means the live stream is over. If you made it this far in the live stream or the replay and you have not liked the video, what is wrong with you? Like the video right now. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe right now. And by subscribing, you'll be joining what I call the Harrison Extended Family. That's my YouTube community here. Subscribing and hitting the bell notification will make you part of the Harrison Extended Family. And if you want to support the channel financially, a couple of ways you can do so. First, you can hit the membership down below. Oh, wait, even before that, if you're watching live stream, you can hit the super chat, like my brother Seek Things Above TV, who hit us with a $5 super chat. Thank you. Or if you're watching the replay, you can hit the super thanks, which will give us a small donation to help keep content like this going. You can join the channel memberships and go to patreon.com/Harrison Family Values and join our Patreon. We have the same tiers there: third cousins, second cousins, first cousins, and siblings. Any of those will help support the channel and keep the channel moving. Also, if you're like me, I don't just like receiving money. Like, I feel weird when people are just giving me money for no specific reason. Although I want you guys to support the channel, and you can give money by supporting the channel. It's just weird because I would like to give you something in return. So if you guys would like to get something in return, we have merch that you can purchase: hoodies, t-shirts, coffee mugs for men and for women. So if you guys can look down below and search our merch store, make a purchase. I know a couple of you guys have purchased some merch. Appreciate you all. Doing that supports the channel. So keep doing that as well. But guys, I thank you guys. And one of the best ways you can help support this channel is just keep watching it and keep sharing it out. And maybe next Tuesday, if you can, invite 2 more people onto the live stream, have them watch it with us, whether they would agree or disagree. I don't mind having discourse with people I disagree with. But understand this: if you're going to insult me in the comment section, I'm going to clap back in a more intelligent, intellectual way. All right. But I appreciate you guys for watching. I love you all. And until the next upload, a live stream, I'm out.